Welcome back to In Your Neighborhood. In 2008, the state-of-the-art scrubber system went online at PPL's Montour plant. All of the green buildings in this shot are integral to the environmental controls that clean 98% of the sulfur dioxide from the plant's emissions. You can see how different things are now at the plant versus this shot taken prior to installation. As part of the scrubbing process, two very usable materials are created. Let's see how this works.
You start out with limestone, so you got a limestone pile across the street. Okay. I get most of my limestone by truck, although I can't get a train. There's some limestone cars over there.
Got it.
They get unloaded. There's another bulldozer over there that helps. It goes through the hole in the ground, comes out of the ground, across the road, up over to this L-shaped building.
Yep.
Okay. So that's coming across as rock. Inside of this building are two silos in the tall part, two mills in the bottom part. Oh, it's a different kind of mill. It's called a ball mill. It's a large coffee can sitting on its side with steel balls in it.
Okay.
And it's got little rails on the side of the can, and when you rotate the can, you're picking up the balls and they drop.
Got it.
And that's how you crush the rock. So you put water and limestone in there, you crush it, make it into like a milkshake type of a slurry.
That slurry goes into a 1,000,000-gallon tank called the absorber.
That has pumps in it that pull out of the bottom and go to spray headers and spray down through the top, so you're constantly recirculating that slurry. The exhaust gas from the boiler goes through that mist. Because of the limestone, which is a calcium carbonate, and I add some oxygen because I just pump air in there. To go through a chemical reaction, you take the carbonate off, you put a sulfate on, and you end up with a calcium sulfate, which is the synthetic gypsum. Pull it out of the absorber through a density selection process, put it onto a belt, dry it, and then ship it across through conveyors across the street and over to U.S. Gypsum.
Nitrous oxide in the exhaust gas is removed by adding ammonia to the exhaust and passing it through a catalyst. This is just another step in the process of scrubbing the plant's emissions.
See the buildings with the yellow squares on them?
Yeah.
Those are the precipitators. That's what's removing the particulate.
Okay.
So you got the gas comes through, I put wires in there, I charge the particles electrically, I take a plate with an opposite charge so the particles stick to the plate, and then I mechanically agitate the plate and the dust falls down. It gets collected and goes across the street and it's stored over there, and it's actually made into another product that we use called stable film.
Wow.
Okay, so that's removing 99% of the particulates.
Wow, that's a lot of information. So let's review.
We talked about the limestone that gets turned into the slurry, goes into an absorber, the cement building that's kind of conical shape. The gas goes through all of this ductwork. The gas goes through that slurry that's being sprayed. That's where the gypsum gets created. The SO2 is removed. Over 98% of the SO2 particles are removed. And then the exhaust goes out the top of that stack.
Each unit feeds into the same stack, but there are two liners inside, one for each unit. The red and white stacks are no longer in use, but removing them was not really cost effective. Now that we know how the exhaust gas is cleaned, let's get back to the process of making electricity. When we last checked, our finely ground coal had turned water into steam in the boiler. Let's pick up the story from there.
The boiler makes steam. Very high pressure, almost 4,000 pounds of pressure. And that steam is at high temperature also. That's what comes into the turbine. We're on the turbine deck. We have a series of turbines hooked together, all in one train, that are turning the main generator. So the first gray piece you can see here, that's a high pressure turbine. To take energy out of that, take the steam, put it back in the boiler, reheat it, put it into the next gray piece. That's an intermediate pressure turbine. Take energy out of that. Take the steam that comes out of that, goes into that top pipe. Gray pipe goes down to two low pressure turbines. So I'm taking energy out in chunks from the steam, again from an efficiency standpoint. So I'm taking a lot of energy out of the steam. All of those are all hooked together on one train, turning the generator at the other end to make electricity.
The entire system is turning at 3,600 revolutions per minute.
At the other end is the generator. The loop of wire, magnetic field, relative motion between the two. That's what generates electricity. The electricity comes out of the main generator at 24,000 volts. I have a transformer that takes that energy and pushes it up to 230,000 volts. That's what goes out on the grid, and then it's stepped back down before it gets to your house. Your house is at 120 volts.
The high voltage minimizes losses as the electricity is transferred over great distances. Everything that happens at the Montour plant is controlled from this room just off the turbine deck.
We're capable of making 750 megawatts. So that's mega is 10 to the 6th, right? Your house in a month might use 1,000 watts.
Right.
Maybe 2,000 watts.
Right.
And we're making 750 million watts every hour. You know, we're using state-of-the-art computers to control the plant. Even though the plant was originally built in the early 70s, Unit 1 came online in 71, Unit 2 came online in 1972. We're using effectively the equivalent of probably 250 home computers, all talking to each other to control the equipment.
On this tour, Monroe focused on the incredible technology that turns a fossil fuel into electricity to power our lives. But at the end of the day, it's really the people that power the plant who make the difference.
I've had the opportunity to work for many companies around the country. I would put my staff up against anybody. The quality, the dedication, the ownership that my employees feel is what make this place run and why it runs very well. So we're very, very blessed. A lot of people have worked their entire careers here, and they own this place, and they're the ones that make it run. So I have the luxury of giving tours sometimes, but it's really, you've talked to some of my people today. They are tremendous, very, very knowledgeable, really well trained, and have a tremendous amount of pride to make Montour run.
Well, that does it for this episode of In Your Neighborhood. A great big thank you to Michael Monroe and all the folks here at PPL for giving us such awesome access. Be sure and check us out on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm your host, Jennifer Wakeman. Thanks for watching.